First things first, sorry this video is out a little late and I apologize for that. I've been sick my entire weekend, which for me is Wednesday and Thursday. I was attempting to do Nightfall and Hardcore, but Nightfall is just too brutal at the moment, so I'm going with Mayday. This is actually my first time ever playing this map, so you guys are going to see my first ever run of it. Mayday is definitely tough for me, as the only maps I've ever played are Nightfall and Point of Contact, with Point of Contact being my primary XP farm and tooth grinding map, since Nightfall is brutally difficult even compared to Mayday. Whether or not it's the hardest map in the game, I've yet to discover. Now, starting off, you enter Mayday on a raft of sorts, and of course you gotta bring your trusty drill with you. It starts off as easy as any other map, with the first 2 or 3 hives basically just being a tutorial to the map. Something new with this map is that there are now schematics available to the player, which they can use to craft traps, or even the Venom LX, a lightning version of the Venom X. Functionally it's the same as the Venom X, but I feel like the LX is slightly more powerful. I'll be getting more into the Venom LX later once I've actually got it unlocked, but for now, I've worked on getting a Tesla trap created. The Tesla trap is good, don't get me wrong, but there's very little reason to craft it in the area that you get the schematic for it, as it's still a relatively easy area to deal with. It definitely could have been useful for me during the challenge where I needed to not let the drill go below 50 health, as it was outside my bounds and I wanted to just sit on the turret protecting it, but again, it is my first time playing the map, so I didn't really know that that was going to be an inaccessible area. My absolute favorite thing about this map is that you don't have 4 trillion fucking scorpions shooting at you the entire time. Yeah, you do have the Cedars, but they're significantly more tame considering that their sentries can be destroyed before they ever attack, and Cedars also give a decent chunk of money and they're still easy to kill, so they're a welcomed alternative. Between opening doors and destroying the ever so lovely hives, this map is pretty similar in content to the 2 before it. I can see why Extinction kind of failed as a separate mode, considering there wasn't much innovation between maps outside of visual appeal. Now let's get to the Venom LX. The Venom LX is a powerful alternative to the Venom X, however it's pretty much identical outside of its visual changes. Another nail in the coffin for this mode. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy playing this mode, and I did enjoy my time on Mayday, but I didn't really feel like I was playing a new map, and the Wonder Weapon being reused did not help the case at all. Regardless, I do enjoy the weapon, and it's easy to get ammo for, so it can come in real handy in a crutch. Its lingering AoE effect after shooting it pretty much negates the need for the IMS systems, especially since the LX doesn't cost any money to obtain or to use, so this allows me to focus more on using ammo boxes and feral instincts. Now with all of that out of the way, we're down to the most pressing question on my mind. Is the boss fight going to be a banger? Once you've gotten past the segment where you have to gas out Samantha Cross, you can enter the boss arena. It's a big open area on the ship with a couple shipping containers and a hive inside the floor in the middle. Occasionally the Kraken will slam its tentacles into the deck, shaking you heavily and bringing you to a sliver of health if it hits you head on. Thankfully, it just pushes down with the head of the tentacle, which means that it doesn't really take up much space, and its tentacles only ever hit in a seemingly predetermined area, so they're pretty easy to dodge, sitting in the middle of which basically guarantees you'll never get hit by them. The tentacles are the most common thing that you're going to be dealing with outside of the rapid influx of smaller cryptids charging you, but just shooting a Venom LX shot at the ground worked fine for allowing me to focus fire on the boss, once I was sure of the mechanics. Now after a little bit, the Kraken decides it wants to surge electricity or some sort of gas throughout the arena, but standing in the hive in the middle prevents you from taking damage. I didn't know this and ended up taking it down to the electric, gas, whatever it is. I thought I had to be in an elevated area at first until I barely made out the voice line saying, "Get off the metal," or something to that extent. Now you do get lots of time to just lay shots into the Kraken, but you do still have to be mindful of the enemies swarming. With no downs left, I did come extremely close to death several times during the boss fight, Which brings us to the final attack the boss has, which is some sort of arena-wide EMP attack. Thankfully it can be avoided by hiding behind a shipping container, but I did get nailed by his first use of the attack due to, once again, not knowing what was in store for me. This attack doesn't do very much damage though, but it does prevent you from using your abilities for a few seconds. And that's it. 3 attacks from the boss, which are all dealt with relatively easily, and enemies that can't touch you if you make sure to make frequent use of the Venom LX. So basically I just stood in the middle of the arena the whole time, using the LX to make sure the small aliens fuck off, while I used the LSAT to do damage to the Kraken. It's just a big bullet sponge with 3 attacks that basically mean nothing. The breeder boss fight is certainly more intriguing than this fight. I thought it was super cool when I entered the arena, but realizing it's just the same repeating attacks for 10 minutes, its novelty was worn off on me pretty quickly. Now, I did enjoy playing this map. It is really fun and the boss is cool in concept, but the problem is that there's just a lot of repetition from past maps and it doesn't really add anything new outside of the cedars. I still look forward to playing the 2 of the last maps that are left, but I am a little worried that they'll feel the exact same as all the maps before them. With that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all later.
Good work, Sif 1. I've deployed search teams to look for Cross. Round up Archer and stand by for extraction.